It's 7 o'clock. Are we,
Recording in progress.
there we go. Good evening, everyone. It is 7 PM, and I want to welcome everybody to the February 17th, 2022 meeting of the Franklin Conservation Commission. Before we begin, I have a few things to notify. Due to the concerns regarding COVID-19, we are conducting a remote virtual Conservation Commission meeting in an effort to ensure citizen engagement and also comply with the open meeting laws of the state of Massachusetts. Citizens are able to dial into the meeting on a phone, a cell, or landline simply by calling 929-205-6099 and then punching in the number 819-8739-2839. Or if they have a laptop, tablet, or computer, they may use the Zoom application and simply put in the meeting number 819-8739-2839. Now, I want to assure the public and anybody who has questions that there will be ample time to address those questions once the applicant, their engineers, and/or the commissioners have had an opportunity to create dialogue and get answers to their questions. So the chair, which is I, will then call for public comment. Before we begin the hearings, however, I need to take a roll call of the commissioners, and the first is the Vice Chair, Jeff Milne.
Jeff Milne is present, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Andrew Mazzucchelli.
Here.
Commissioner Richard Johnson.
Richard Johnson's here.
Good evening, Richard. Commissioner Patrick Gallagher.
Hey, Bill. How are you?
Oh, good evening, Patrick. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Commissioner Jeff Livingstone. Second time, Commissioner Jeff Livingstone. Make a note that Commissioner Livingstone is not present for this evening's meeting. And finally, our newest Conservation Commissioner, Michael Ryan. Michael?
Michael Ryan here.
Michael Ryan is here. I am Chairman Bill Batchelor, and also with us this evening, we have Tyler Pazlaski from the Conservation Office and our consultant who is from Beta and WSI, Lenore White. Good evening, Lenore.
Good evening.
So with that, I will now open the public hearings officially. The first one is an NOI for 40 Dover Circle as the applicant or their delegate here. We need you to sign in first, please.
Mr. Chair, Pat Gallagher, I'm going to recuse for this one.
Make a note that Commissioner Patrick Gallagher has recused, and as such, we'll call him back once the NOI is closed out. Then I would ask you if you would either go to the desk mic or the standing mic, one or the other. Would you please also identify yourself when you come to the microphone? And
Paul DeSimone with Colonial Engineering.
I'm sorry?
Paul DeSimone with Colonial Engineering.
Would you speak into the microphone, please?
Paul DeSimone with Colonial Engineering.
Okay, good evening.
Representing
How are
the
you?
owners. Representing the owners.
You are representing the owner, okay, and the owner's name is?
David Mann,
David Mann. Okay.
M-A-N-N.
Thank you. You want to describe the project, please?
What's that? What the Manns would like to do is enhance their backyard. I don't know if you guys have a plan you're looking at all, or something to reference?
I have,
They have-
everybody have, you do not. I'm going to give you the smaller one.
they have a couple big ones.
That's okay. I'm all set, Tyler. I printed that out.
I'll take one. Tyler?
Tyler?
I'll take one, Tyler.
Commissioner Ryan would like one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
So what's in the backyard right now, existing, is all in block. The pool, the patio, little riprap slopes, the little stone things,
mm-hmm,
the stairs, the retaining wall. Everything that's shown in red is proposed. So they want to put a shed to the right-hand side of the house at the end of the driveway there.
okay,
They want to extend the patio a little bit,
mm-hmm,
on the, get rid of that riprap slope that's close to the pool, put an actual retaining wall around that with a fence on top of it. They're rearranging the stairs that come off the existing patio that will go up to the house itself, and a walkway that goes to the driveway. Everything's shown in red. We call from erosion control between the wall and the second tier of riprap that's going down the slope there. Everything up to the edge of woods, which is shown in that squiggly line at the bottom, near the wetlands and near the other riprap area, is all lawn, existing lawn. Nothing they're doing on this property is disturbing anything that's not already been disturbed. So they are working within the 25 to 50-foot buffer with some of that retaining wall and some more patio. The shed is between the 50 and the 100-foot buffer.
right.
I think we show some plants down at the bottom there for mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're on the existing lawn area.
So it appears that nothing is in the 25 no-touch.
Other than the plants,
Just the shrubs.
Just, well, that you can't help.
right.
They're there, correct?
No, those are proposed.
You're proposing shrubs in the 25 no-touch.
Yes, because it's on an existing lawn area.
Okay?
On the left of the plan, you can see the construction sequence. It's typical, install erosion control, call for an inspection by the Concom,
Okay?
dig the footings for the addition in the walls, stockpile the material outside the 50-foot buffer, construct the addition in the walls, backfill, remove the excess material from the site, see any disturbed areas that were disturbed during the process. Final inspection, request certificate of compliance, and then finally, after you guys are satisfied, remove the erosion control after growth of the lawn. If it's been seeded, it has to take growth.
Okay.
Again, everything is in a disturbed area. He's just kind of moving things around.
Okay.
And that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you. Lenore, would you care to comment, please?
Yes, I looked at the property, I think it was last week. I met with the homeowner there, and it's basically a terraced backyard right now. It's flat, and then it drops off, and then it's flat, and then it drops off again. What I did note was that the wetland had not been flagged, and the wetland is somewhat more extensive than it's shown on the plan of record. However, it's confined within what you'll see on the plan as an easement. There's a drainage easement to the rear of the property, and the wetland is confined to that drainage easement. So despite the fact that the wetland was not flagged, I don't really see a need to go out there and flag it because the work isn't going to affect the wetland or the 25-foot buffer zone because all work is proposed outside of that. The only thing that is missing from the application, and I issued a memo which I think was sent to the applicant earlier this week, the only thing missing is that you have a requirement in your bylaw for a functions and characteristics statement. That I did not find in the application, but beyond that, it's a buffer zone project. I don't see any problem with it going forward. I would recommend that we, have the standard conditions that we do impose for these buffer zone projects, including revegetating any bare areas, which is certainly on the plan notes. And there is some planting proposed within the 25-foot buffer zone, but I think that's an allowable activity within the buffer zone. I know the commission doesn't like to see any structures or paving or alteration, but I think planting shrubs is something that would certainly add some protection to that area and add a little bit more sort of a visual buffer zone for the neighbors and the backyard there. So So if we can get that functions and characteristics statement, I think the project can go forward with the commission's approval.
Okay, Lenore, and I'm glad you made that statement about the shrubbery, because when it was first presented, at least to me, and you're right, the commission traditionally does not allow any activity in the 25-foot buff, no-touch zone. But if you believe that that would help stabilize,
Yeah, I mean, it certainly isn't a structure, you know, it's not going to be an adverse impact in any way. I think allowing additional plantings would be consistent with protecting that area. The lawn area does get wet back there because the wetland is there, and maybe the shrubs would help to take up, you know, take up some of the excess water there. So I don't really see a problem with planting shrubs in that 25-foot buffer zone.
okay. I'm glad you said that, because I was ready to say no. But of course, I'm not the only governing authority. Let me poll the commissioners to find out if they have any questions. Commissioner Milne?
The question I was going to have was the shrubs, but I think we have taken care of that issue.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Jeff. Commissioner Mazzucchelli?
Yes, so I think that was well thought out, and again, my only concern was the shrubs, but because, you know, of the explanation they would essentially be helping,
Stabilized here.
right, then I don't have
Okay.
anything else at this time, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Commissioner Johnson, do you have any questions?
Oh, I don't have any questions. I thought Lenore did a very good job.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Commissioner Ryan, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is Chairman Batchelor. I really don't have any questions since Ms. White was kind enough to describe exactly the benefit of having shrubs in that 25 buffer, what we'd like to call the no-touch zone. So I guess this time we'll make the exception, since our esteemed colleague here is agreeing that it is beneficial to the project and the buffer versus
Well, it's
just,
always good to, you know, put shrubs close to the wetlands, especially if you're in a lawn area. It deters the owners from actually going.
because I'll be honest with you, typically we don't allow it. We'll just
No, I
say,
know.
get rid of them, dump them. I mean, honestly,
But if you're in a lawn area.
you're getting
close to
too
the wetlands-
close to the wetlands, and there's a reason why they call it a 25 no-touch.
Right.
But in this case, with the, having a scientist say that, no, it helps establish the area and keeps it secure, then we're gonna go with that. We have a great deal of trust in her judgment, so. It's a public hearing, and now would be the time appropriate. If anybody from the public has a question on this project, please ask. Okay, let me ask that again. Is there anybody on with us from the public that has a question on the NOI for 41 Dover Circle? Now is the time, please. There appears there are no questions, so therefore, I would ask Vice Chairman Milne to give me a motion to close the public hearing on 41 Dover Circle.
Mr. Chairman, Jeff Milne, I will give you a motion to close the public hearing for the NOI on 41 Dover Circle.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazzucchelli, would you give me a second?
Andrew Mazzucchelli, I second that.
Thank you. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Ryan, do you vote to close the public meeting?
Vote to close.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Johnson, do you vote to close the public hearing?
Yes, Commissioner Johnson votes to close.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazzucchelli, do you vote to close?
I vote to close, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Milne, do you vote to close?
Jeff Milne, I vote to close.
Thank you. This is Commissioner and Chairman Batchelor. I also vote to close. Let it be known that the hearing on 41 Dover Circle is closed. I will now take a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
could you enumerate the conditions?
I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was about to do
Oh,
that. No, but that's a good call, Jeff. I will take a motion to approve the NOI for 41 Dover Circle with the following special conditions: 20, 21, 24, 27 through 30, 32, 34, 41, and 44.
I can't write that fast.
I know you can't, but that's, you can just say you approve with conditions. Do I have a motion to approve with conditions?
Mr. Chairman, Jeff Millen, I'll give you a motion to approve the NOI for 41 Dover Circle with conditions.
Do I have a second from Commissioner Mazzucchelli?
Andrew Mazzucchelli, I second.
Thank you. Let's take a
Hold
vote.
on, I think Lenore had something else to say.
I'm sorry?
Lenore had something else to say. Lenore.
Lenore?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just as a note, they did not submit their functions and characteristic statement, so I think it's okay to close the hearing. I think one of the conditions, however, should be that they do submit a functions and characteristic statement as part of the special conditions.
Okay, so do you understand what you're going to have to do along with the conditions that we've called out?
Absolutely.
And you agree to it?
Yes.
Okay, let that be in the note of approval and the second. Thank you, Lenore. Therefore, I will take a vote to approve 41 Dover Circle with special conditions and the notation made by the wetland scientist.
Commissioner Ryan, approve?
Thank you. Commissioner Milne?
Commissioner Jeff Millen approves.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazzucchelli?
Andrew Mazzucchelli, I vote to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson?
Commissioner Johnson votes to approve.
Thank you. This is Commissioner and Chair Batchelor. I vote to approve. The NOI for 41 Dover Circle is approved with special conditions and the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Can I give you a quick update on 27 Sophia before I take off? That was the enforcement order.
I'm sorry?
27 Sophia Circle, the enforcement order. I was here for a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to let you know that we found a landscaper that can get the soils required to do the replication area. We kind of put it in his lap to tell us when he can do it the best time of year, if that's okay with the commission.
We can't rule on that because we just closed.
No, I know, I'm just.
I mean, as a notation, that's fine, but understand that once we vote, it's over. That's something you can go into the Conservation Commission office and discuss with Brian Tavernier. But legally, our options right now, it's over. You got approval.
No, this is for
Yeah, different site.
27 Sophia. 27 Sophia Circle.
It's not on our agenda, I think it was
The
10
last,
weeks ago.
last time I was here, it was the one for the enforcement order, where they didn't make a replication.
I'm not going to comment on that
Okay.
because it's not on the agenda. I'm sorry, I can't.
It's okay, that's fine.
No, there's legalities around that. We can't comment.
All right, no problem, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's a good point of order for all the commissioners, whoever is the chair and the vice chair. If it isn't on the agenda,
Can't discuss it.
we can't talk about it, regardless of what the issue is. There are legal considerations behind that. Okay, that closes the public hearings for this evening. There doesn't seem to be any MBZA, minor buffer zone activities. There's no permit modifications or extensions. We do have a certificate of compliance for 341 West Central Street. Is the applicant with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fine. Would you please sign in and then find a microphone? Here it is. Okay, I got West Central. Did you?
Yes, absolutely.
I think they would like for you
Got
to
it.
sit and
Okay.
stand by one of the microphones.
Are you Deborah?
I am.
Hi, Deborah, how are you?
Good evening.
Would you please give your full name?
Yes, it's Deborah Baytog. I'm with Gilmore Reese and Carlson,
Yes?
and I'm representing Edwin's Gifts 2, Inc. And they are the owners of the property at 341 West Central Street.
Okay. Boy, this thing goes back to 1985.
Yes, it does.
That's in the Wayback Machine.
It is, and it actually predates,
It's
my
never-
client's
It's
property.
never been closed out.
No, and that's why I applied for a partial as to my client's lot, because I have no idea what the status is with regard to the plaza. I know exactly the area that they're talking about, which is the opposite side of the Edwards building and my client's separate lot. But I have no idea. That's why I posed the application as a partial, because I don't want to have to address anything that's related to the non-applicable.
Well, the problem is, I don't know how much is relevant. If you go back to 85 and come to today,
Yeah, well, actually, if you look through the attachments to the application and also my cover letter, you'll see a letter from Brian Taberner,
I have it.
okay, as well as the registry, well, the land registration office, the registered land section of the Registry of Deeds in Norfolk, that basically show the timeline that the order of conditions was with respect to the entire opposite end of the plaza, and my client's lot is subdivided out and separate and apart. And he was not the applicant with regard to the other work. So it's a separate zoning parcel and a separate lot.
Lenore White,
Yes.
are you familiar with this?
Yeah, Brian and I and Tyler spoke about this week and spoke about it. And it's my understanding that exactly as she pointed out, this was an order of conditions issued for a large project. Subsequent to the order of conditions, the parcel was subdivided, but the order of conditions follows those subdivided parcels. So it follows the deed. So now we have this lot that really has nothing to do with wetlands, but it was part of the original order of conditions. So the applicant was correct in requesting a partial certificate for just that one lot. And it's my understanding that Brian spoke to one of the parties there and agreed that, yeah, it's just one of those things that happens with these older, larger projects that the order of conditions runs with the deed, and it clouds the title of these deeds. So what Brian had recommended was that the commission issue a partial certificate of compliance for that one lot.
Okay, that solves the problem then. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. I believe they can then take that partial order, go to the registry of deeds, and record it on this parcel so
All right.
it clears the title.
And I did prepare the certificate to reflect that it was only with respect to my client's lot.
Okay. The problem is, nobody wins on this. If we go in the Wayback Machine, this thing will be just become a boondoggle. So I think, at least for the chair and my specific advice, is a partial order, COC, and go with that. Let's pull the commissioners. Mazzucchelli, how do you feel about this?
I think that would be probably, at this point, the most streamlined way of,
Expeditious way of
Yeah.
dealing with it.
yeah.
That's
I
what I'm
just wanna see-
thinking. I
yeah.
mean, I don't want to dig.
Right, no, I agree with that, yeah, no, it just seems like, it's probably the neatest way of sort of disposing of this.
Right. How do you feel, Jeff?
I'm in agreement with it.
Okay. Patrick, you're back on with us. How do you feel?
I have no problem. I sympathize as a real estate attorney who does title work, and frankly, I can't even imagine where the closest wetlands are to this property.
Agreed.
It's a very large parking lot, so no issues on my end.
Right. Good. Thank you, sir. Richard, how do you feel about it?
I think it's a good thing to, I agree.
Michael?
I agree.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve a partial order and a certificate of compliance for 341 West Central Street. Mr. Milne.
Mr. Chairman, I'll give you a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for 341 West Central Street.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazzucchelli, do you give me a second?
I give you a second.
Thank you. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Ryan, do you approve?
I approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Gallagher, do you approve?
Pat Gallagher, I approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson, do you approve?
Commissioner Johnson approves.
Thank you. Commissioner Milne, do you approve?
Jeff Nolan approves.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazzucchelli?
Andrew Mazzucchelli, I approve.
Thank you. This is Chair and Commissioner Bachelet also approves unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Have a good night,
Is there
Deborah.
a particular day that I can pick up the certificate from the office?
Yep.
We, if you haven't, we
Tyler,
have your
you take
email
care of
address,
those
we'll
things.
let you know when it's been signed, which
All right,
I think we'll have the
great.
signatures tonight.
Thank you,
Have a nice
Deborah.
night.
You're welcome. All right, there are no other issues other than one last moment, and that is the approval of the February 3rd meeting minutes, which I have here. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Mr. Chairman, Jeff Nolan, give you a motion to approve the minutes of February 3rd, 2022 as printed.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazzucchelli, you gonna give me a second?
Andrew Mazzucchelli, I second that.
Thank you. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Gallagher, do you approve?
Pat Gallagher, I approve.
Now, Commissioner Johnson, you weren't here. However, I am told by town council that you can vote, so I'm gonna ask you if you approve.
I approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan, you weren't here, but I am told that as a sitting commissioner, you have the power to approve minutes even though you were not, you
Okay.
were at the meeting, but you, in an unofficial capacity, so I'll take your approval.
Okay, I'll approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Milne, you approve?
Jeff Nolan, I approve.
Mazzucchelli approves?
I approve.
Bachelor approves. Meetings minutes are approved. Any commissioners have any issues that are pertinent to Conservation Commission?
That's good.
The silence is deafening. I will therefore take a motion to close the hearing and the meeting. Someone give me a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
So moved.
Jeff Nolan, I give you a motion.
Gallagher, you want to second it?
I'll second that.
Anybody object? Everybody approves. Meeting is closed. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Lenore.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman,
Thank
and
you,
good luck
Michael.
with your surgery.
Recording stopped.
Good evening. Have a good evening.
Have a
Good
good
night.
night.